Good evening, I'm Adrian Arsenault. Tonight, the northern Alberta floods leave one dead and thousands displaced.
It's wild. I never thought I'd ever see it. I don't know what's going to happen next.
In the middle of the pandemic, Alberta lifts some physical distancing to save what's left.
I'm Andrew Chang. Also tonight, new hope for a coronavirus treatment.
Remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant, positive effect.
The drug showing strong results in the U.S. and why it's not easy to get in Canada.
I'm only going to the grocery store and back.
Canadians are driving a whole lot less, so why is it so hard to get an insurance rebate?
Seniors have been hardest hit in this pandemic. Tonight, we're answering their questions.
Why is Ontario so slow to test all seniors and care workers?
Why am I at greater risk for COVID-19?
Our doctors are standing by. This is The National. We begin tonight with some breaking news. An international search effort is underway this hour for a Canadian military helicopter that disappeared off the coast of Greece. The helicopter is a CH-148 Cyclone serving in the NATO Joint Task Force Operation Reassurance. It reportedly went down about 80 kilometers off the coast of the Greek island of Cephalonia in the Mediterranean Sea. David Common has been following the developments tonight. David?
Well, Adrian, even as the world shelters from COVID-19, military operations have continued abroad. And tonight, Greek media say a Canadian helicopter with 6 people on board has gone down in the sea during a routine operation. And at least one body, tragically, has been found. Helicopter operations at sea are always risky, but Canada's relatively new Cyclone helicopters are considered some of the best in the world. Off the coast of Greece, one's been busy, flying from the frigate HMCS Fredericton, part of an international NATO operation to counter Russian influence and aggression in Eastern Europe. Russian submarine activity is picked up in the region, and the helicopter is key to tracking them.
The idea there is it basically just kind of multiplies the impact that one of our warships has in finding another submarine and can do so more effectively and at further distance.
It was likely this helicopter, seen on the ship a month ago, that today in the Mediterranean had something go deeply wrong. Contact was lost, said the Canadian Armed Forces in a tweet. NATO announcing a multi-ship and air search and rescue operation being conducted. The Cyclone is designed to float on relatively calm seas and typically carries a crew of 4 along with life rafts and survival suits, but it can fit many more and can operate far from its mothership, alone, over the open ocean.
Thinking about the crew, the Mediterranean's a better place to go down than the North Atlantic, but a crash at nighttime doesn't make a search and rescue scenario very easy to prosecute.
You can bet that every available helicopter, aircraft, and ship in the area from allied navies is participating in this search. It's a very close community, but there are some things they know. As they search for survivors, the chances of finding them goes down with every passing hour. Adrian.
All right, David, thank you.
Well, turning now to the severe flooding disaster in northern Alberta. Some 13,000 people have been driven from their homes in Fort McMurray, and less than an hour away, Fort McKay First Nation is mourning one of its own. 2 men from the community ran into trouble yesterday near trapping grounds about 50 kilometers north of Fort McKay along the Athabasca River. A statement from the Fort McKay First Nation said they were airlifted to a hospital, but the older of the 2 later died of his injuries. Now, in Fort McMurray, there are no reported deaths so far, but the sheer scale of the disaster is staggering. Rafi Boudjikanian takes us there tonight.
We got paddles. Oh, life jackets are under there. Take her easy. Keep going.
For Jessica Raymond, it's all been overwhelming.
I just feel like I'm numb at this point. I think I've had my emotions already because after I talked to the insurance adjuster and I realized I have no coverage whatsoever.
Her wedding was already postponed due to the pandemic. Now she has a new nightmare.
My wedding dress is sitting in my house. I have no insurance, nothing, because I live on a floodplain, and the water level is above my garage door.
Like everywhere else, Fort McMurray was already dealing with COVID-19 when this happened. This hotel, shut down due to a lack of business, now houses evacuees like Henry Osabor.
It was challenging. Like the first day I came here, I wanted to go straight to the elevator and I saw some guys waiting. I have to, stay back, one person at a time, so you don't touch things anyhow. When you get into your room, you want to quickly wash.
Some of those coronavirus restrictions have now been lifted to allow people to work together to save what they can, while others wait for news on the homes they've had to abandon.
I have my books and my PC for Google Classroom and stuff, and I'm doing really well.
Today, Fort McMurray's mayor said the number of buildings affected is now half that of the 2016 wildfire, while the premier is hopeful the massive raft of ice that caused the flooding is starting to shrink.
We are encouraged to see the ice jams are beginning to clear on both the Athabasca and the Peace Rivers, and that water volumes are starting to go down.
And Fort McMurray continues to face it together. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Fort McMurray.
Now, the Fort McMurray disaster only adds more financial stress to a province struggling to sell its oil, and now, due to COVID-19 outbreaks at two major processing plants, struggling to sell its meat.
We're watching with interest and concern some of the issues facing meat producers and the supply chain across the agricultural industry.
Well, as are Canadians tired of lining up for groceries that only get more expensive. And the massive COVID-19 outbreak at Alberta's Cargill meat processing plant won't help. Alison Dempster looks at what the pandemic means for Canada's meat supply.
Usually, calving season is a hopeful time of year for Sherry Coppathorne Barnes. Not this spring. She's worried the market for her calves is about to dry up.
Our business is based on natural cycles, the environment, and working with the land. And so we don't have the ability to be able to say, stop calving cows, or we're not going to plant right now because we're not sure what the market's going to look like in October.
A backlog of cattle is building as meatpacking plants struggle with COVID-19 outbreaks among their workers. The Cargill plant has been closed for a week and a half. It's going to start reopening with just one shift next week. But one of its major buyers, McDonald's Canada, has announced it will get its beef from the U.S. for the time being.
McDonald's actually has High River as the only place to get beef in Canada, which is why it had to go to the U.S. and other places to get beef.
Consumers at the supermarket may find less selection, but experts don't expect major shortages there.
If you do want beef, you will be able to find it. Prices may go up, though.
Pork producers are also struggling with bottlenecks. A farm on Prince Edward Island was recently forced to euthanize hogs because there was no place to send them for slaughter. Beef and pork industry groups are asking for help from Ottawa. Today, the Prime Minister said the government is working with industry, but he offered few details.
We need to make sure that those supply chains can keep functioning, but we also need to make sure that the people who work in those supply chains and will continue to need to work in difficult circumstances over the coming weeks and months as we continue to battle COVID-19 are kept safe.
Ranchers won't reap the benefits of a pricier barbecue season. Instead, they're bracing for rocky months ahead. Alison Dempster, CBC News, Calgary.
If you are lucky enough to have retirement savings, your jaw likely dropped the last time you checked on them. Canadians are heavily invested in the oil sector, and it's obviously taking a hit. Aaron Collins takes a closer look at the oil patch's astonishing first quarter losses and when we might see a recovery.
Floodwaters have the de facto capital of Canada's oil patch underwater today. A very different kind of disaster has the companies that fuel Fort McMurray's economy underwater too. It's no secret that COVID-19 has been devastating for Canada's oil patch. This week, a first glimpse at just how bad things are. Today, Cenovus Energy announced losses of $1.8 billion in the first quarter. Husky lost $1.7 billion. Yesterday, Vermilion Energy disclosed losses totaling $1.3 billion. Analysts say the losses will continue to pile up due to an unprecedented crash in global demand. But they say the bad news can't last forever.
A year from now, things are going to look a lot better, and there's going to be a lot more certainty in terms of the future direction. And that will be very welcomed by the Western Canadian oil industry.
Until then, it won't just be oil and gas companies that feel the financial bite of this downturn. Most Canadians who have an RRSP or a mutual fund are also invested in the oil patch and its unclear future. But amidst that uncertainty, some glimmers of hope. Scott Darling shut in his first oil well decades ago. Now, $1.7 billion in federal cash to decommission more wells could mean Darling is one of the lucky few in the patch that could be busy in the coming months.
It's not going to save the industry, but it will help out, hopefully put some people to work, and it seems like fairly fast.
But most of the patch is struggling mightily. For his part, Alberta's premier continues to press the federal government for as much as $30 billion in credit to be extended to the struggling sector.
Obviously, all of our energy companies are hemorrhaging cash right now, and a bigger response is needed.
Canada's oil patch was already struggling to keep the lights on in Calgary's towers before this pandemic arrived. Now that it has, it could be years before they fill up again. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Well, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is expected to give emergency approval to a potential COVID-19 treatment. Remdesivir, originally created for Ebola, is showing some promise in early clinical testing. Vicadopia has more on the findings.
As an Ebola drug, remdesivir fell out of use because of minimal success. It's now being tested for the coronavirus in a large study involving 10 countries, led by the U.S. government's National Institutes of Health, whose boss says the results were so promising they had to be shared immediately.
The data shows that remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant, positive effect in diminishing the time to recovery.
When remdesivir was tested alongside a placebo drug on more than 1,000 severe coronavirus patients, those on a placebo recovered on average in 15 days. For those on remdesivir, it was quicker, just 11 days. The death rate for remdesivir patients was lower than placebo patients. The data has neither been published nor peer-reviewed. Still, it was enough for an independent panel monitoring the research to stop the trial.
Whenever you have clear-cut evidence that a drug works, you have an ethical obligation to immediately let the people who are in the placebo group know so that they could have access. And all of the other trials that are taking place now have a new standard of care.
There are still more than 20 other clinical trials underway. A smaller one published today in this prestigious journal had inconclusive results. This infectious disease specialist says that's to be expected in drug trials, but the findings released by Washington are significant.
I think it's a sentinel moment in this epidemic, but of course, part of me also wants to say, like, I really want to see the data as well.
The question for Canada is, what now? Remdesivir is not approved for use in this country, though the maker Gilead is providing it to hospitals on compassionate grounds. But Health Canada says the maker has been overwhelmed by requests. Vicadopia, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, those who recover from COVID-19 should develop antibodies. Key to reopening may be figuring out how many people caught the virus. Widespread antibody testing is underway in the States, and our Susan Ormiston got a first-hand look.
I'm Dr. Bergstrom.
Oh, hi, Dr. Bergstrom. I'm Susan Ormiston.
We came to a DC medical clinic to get a rapid test for COVID antibodies.
Are you getting a lot of people testing?
400 of these, I believe, now.
You can get one here even without symptoms.
How much do you need?
Not much.
Some employers are asking for it in order to return to work.
Very similar to the mono test or the flu test, or we also use this for strep tests.
The U.S. is ramping up testing, trying to double it to find out where coronavirus lurked and we didn't know. In my test,
There's no evidence of either IgG or IgM antibodies, indicating to me that you have not had this illness enough to have built antibodies.
But this other sample from another patient did show positive.
Do you worry that there's a false sense of security?
Yes, I have a lot of patients who want to get this test to see if it's okay to be around their elderly parents or taking care of a sick loved one. And I am very careful to say that their behavior, no matter what the result is, should never change. They still need to wear masks, they still need to be socially distancing, and they still need to be washing their hands.
We do know the virus struck more people than we thought. New York recently reported nearly 14% may have had the virus, even with mild or no symptoms. But still concerns over the test's reliability.
Many of them are out there that have not been validated, but a few have been validated by the FDA.
A new large trial underway at the National Institute of Health will test blood samples from 10,000 Americans.
We're looking to map the spread in healthy people, so currently asymptomatic, so people that aren't sick right now.
First results, perhaps early June, will project how many had it, but not if they're immune.
The positivity alone won't tell us if that person is protected from the disease.
That's a next step. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Washington.
Okay, good time to bring in Dr. Isaac Bogosh, an infectious diseases specialist here in Toronto. So, Dr. Bogosh, given the uncertainty, what do we expect antibody testing to reliably show us, and how much stock should we put in it?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not entirely sure of the many antibody tests out there, which ones are reliable and which ones aren't. So it's hard to know what the strong horse is. And in fact, Canada has appropriately dragged its heels to approve these tests and to use these tests widely because we're not entirely sure what to make of the existing ones. I think in the coming week or weeks, we'll have a better understanding of which ones to use, and we'll probably start to see more and more testing here in Canada. One of the issues is, let's say a test is positive, and it's truly a positive test. What we don't know now is to what extent is that person immune to COVID-19, and if they are immune, for how long will that person be immune? So there still are a lot of unanswered questions.
Okay, insightful chat as always. Dr. Bogosh, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Canada has passed another terrible marker. More than 3,000 people have now died, and the number of new infections continues to climb. There are more than 51,000 cases across the country. Quebec saw 837 new infections today, but there are some signs of progress. Ontario reported its lowest number of new cases in 3 weeks, and some provinces have their sights set on reopening.
Today we are announcing the restoration of safe services.
Manitoba's premier says the province will start easing restrictions Monday, allowing some non-essential businesses to open their doors, like dentists, clothing stores, hair salons, and restaurant patios. Campgrounds, golf courses, and playgrounds will reopen, and elective surgeries will start back up. But
it won't be business as usual. For now, it'll be a new normal. Travel restrictions will remain in place for the time being. We are still restricting gatherings to no more than 10 people.
PEI announced today schools will not be reopening this year, but starting Friday, people from different households will be allowed to gather in groups no bigger than 5, as long as they're outside and 6 feet apart.
We can't greet people with a hug or a kiss or a handshake.
Quebec, the hardest hit province, is opening most daycares and elementary schools in May, and the province announced today it will lift travel restrictions over the month. New Brunswick has also started lifting some of its restrictions, and here's why. Federal modeling released this week shows New Brunswick has not only managed to flatten the curve, but avoid it altogether. No new COVID cases for 11 days straight. And of the 118 cases it has seen, all but 4 have recovered, and no one has died. And consider this, New Brunswick is home to one of the oldest populations in this country. It's home to a struggling healthcare system, and it borders hard-hit Quebec. Still, as Harry Forstall explains, the province is, so far, weathering this pandemic virtually unscathed.
Consider it a reward for good behavior. After 6 weeks of lockdown, a blissful taste of freedom as the province lifts some restrictions.
Within 10 minutes of the announcement, my phone started ringing.
New Brunswick has so far weathered the COVID-19 storm without a single death attributed to the virus and only a handful of hospitalizations. Demographics certainly help. A largely rural province, New Brunswick lacks the crowded urban centers and major airports that help disease spread so quickly.
Using our gear.
Even so, COVID wards like this still anticipated an influx of patients based on the province's aging population.
We are one of the oldest provinces in Canada, and we knew then that this virus likes to latch itself into the elderly population especially, and that the overall outcomes amongst seniors are bad.
Long-term care centers were especially vulnerable and acted quickly to keep visitors out and test employees. So while the coronavirus stalks nursing homes in Ontario, Quebec, and Nova Scotia, it hasn't gained a toehold here.
We took action quick and soon, and we acted on those things in the best interest of our residents' safety and our staff safety.
We are saying that if you've traveled internationally, please stay away from school.
Another factor protecting the province, the decision to close schools on March 13th.
The government acted quickly and proactively, took it seriously, and closed things down like schools and implemented social distancing early, and then the population clearly had trust in government and went along with it. There's no question New Brunswick did it the right way.
Despite that success, public health officials are warning New Brunswickers to stay vigilant. Another wave of COVID-19 could strike before the year is out. Harry Forrestel, CBC News, Fredericton.
A worker in an Amazon warehouse north of Calgary is sounding the alarm over a growing number of COVID-19 cases. The tech giant reported a positive case on April 12th, but an employee says at least 4 more cases have been confirmed since then. They're calling on Amazon to shut down the facility and sanitize the warehouse. Dozens rallied at the Alberta legislature today. Protesters are demanding an end to COVID-19 restrictions, saying people need to get back to work. No word yet on whether anyone was ticketed for breaking physical distancing rules. Well, some Canadians are voicing their concern after receiving a controversial newspaper in their mailbox unsolicited. The Epoch Times published a conspiracy theory about the origin of the coronavirus and China's role. And as Katie Nicholson explains, that has many worried about the consequences.
I was disgusted. I'm horrified.
This postal union representative was so upset by this front page of the Epoch Times that he filed a special request to ask that postal workers not deliver it.
We feel the front cover is promoting xenophobia towards the Asian community. It also could put some of our Asian letter carriers at risk.
The minister rejected that request, saying it does not appear to meet the required criteria of the offence of willful promotion of hatred, as established in the Criminal Code of Canada. The Epoch Times was founded by Falun Gong practitioners, the spiritual movement persecuted in China and at loggerheads with China's ruling Communist Party.
And Falun Gong showed a capacity.
Those who study China aren't surprised to see the paper seize on the pandemic to take aim at Beijing.
There is so much bad blood that either side would take whatever opportunity they reasonably could to throw mud at the other.
The paper recently produced this documentary about the origin of the virus. It pushed so many debunked theories, Facebook flagged it as false information.
Just this morning, my friend sitting in front of the hospital waiting for their mother-in-law for a medical checkup, yelled at, screamed at, "You dirty Chinese."
This advocate worries the paper's inflammatory headlines hurt all Canadians.
Because this perception that Chinese equals virus is already quite prevalent in the Canadian society.
In an email, the Epoch Times acknowledged some people may have erroneously conflated criticism of the Chinese Communist Party with criticism of the Chinese people, but said the party does not represent Chinese people. When asked, the paper didn't say what steps it could take to quell the fears of Asian Canadians afraid its headlines could make them targets of hate. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, here's a question for you. How much are you driving lately? And are you still paying the same for car insurance?
If driving is down by 50%, accidents are down by 50%, we should be passing on the savings.
Up next, the calls for insurance companies to pony up pandemic rebates.
And we focus on seniors. They've been at the center of this pandemic story tonight. They're at the center of our coverage, beginning with their questions for our experts.
What steps are being taken for people my age who are thinking of moving into a nursing home?
We're back in 2.
Well, anyone venturing out in the age of COVID-19 will tell you some roads and highways are virtually empty. So why are many Canadians still paying the same premiums for car insurance? Aaron Saltzman takes a look.
I'm only going to the grocery store and back.
His company completely shut down. These days, James Downey's truck rarely leaves the driveway, yet he just found out his insurance is going up by 20%, retroactive to January.
I'm at a spot where I can afford it, I think, for the next little while, but I know a lot of people I work with can't.
Downey's insurer, the Cooperators, says the increase was decided upon prior to the pandemic and reflects the claims experience the company has seen over the last several years. Cooperators is now offering a 10% rebate to all its drivers, but that's after the 20% hike. With fewer people on the road due to COVID-19 and fewer collisions, the insurance industry had pledged to pass on the savings to drivers.
There's no question that that risk profile that insurers used months ago to establish the premium has gone down. And so there's a need to reflect that.
Public insurers and many companies are offering across-the-board refunds for all their customers, whether they're driving less or not. But some of Canada's biggest insurance companies are only cutting premiums if people are driving less, reducing coverage, or upping their deductible. Options that are generally available, pandemic or not. Canada's Insurance Dispute Resolution Service says it's getting complaints about the lack of rebates. It also says some companies may not be in a position to offer them.
If an insurer has a huge loss ratio and is not making as much money, you might not get the same rebate as a smaller insurer, say, that's making much less claims before the pandemic.
Ontario's NDP is calling on the government in that province to force insurers to cut all premiums by half for 3 months.
If driving is down by 50%, if accidents are down by 50%, we should be passing on the savings.
Drivers, he says, should get the benefits of driving less, not insurance companies. Aaron Saltzman, CBC News, Toronto.
Among those most affected by the illness, by financial uncertainty, and by loneliness from COVID-19 are seniors. Next on The National, we're putting our focus on those hit hard by the pandemic. Our doctors answer seniors' questions.
If we physical distance, is it okay to have friends, kids, and grandkids over for a visit in the backyard?
Plus, an inside look at the strain seniors' doctors are facing.
We're all working double hours now.
And veterans give us their advice for this historic moment.
There's a saying is, keep calm and carry on.
Special coverage starting right after this. Welcome back. When it comes to understanding the impact of COVID-19, one group has been hit especially hard in Canada, seniors, and they remain the most vulnerable. So tonight we're focusing our special coverage on them. We'll look at the new challenges their doctors are facing and some of the extreme measures families are taking to see their loved ones. But first, let's hear from Canadian seniors directly and put their questions to our panel of doctors. With me tonight is Dr. Samir Sinha, Director of Geriatrics at the University Health Network in Toronto, and Dr. Nathan Stahl, geriatrician at Mount Sinai in Toronto. Thank you both for being here. So we have a whole bunch of questions. The first one comes from Grace, and let's have a look.
I'd like to know what steps are being taken for people my age who are thinking in the near future of moving into a nursing home or having care in my own home, in light of what's happening right now in nursing homes.
Okay, it's a big decision. Dr. Sinha, can you start us off?
Yeah, I think a lot of Canadians right now are really nervous about what my future care needs might look like, and is it safe to be in a nursing home? And I think right now there's a lot of work going on to save as many lives, but also to think about how we might have to rethink our models and provide more home-based care that's actually safer and more in line with what people like Grace would want.
Okay. Next up, we have a question from Corey.
I have well-managed type 2 diabetes. I'm wondering why I'm at greater risk for COVID-19. Is it my age? Is it my illness? Or is it a combination of both?
Okay, Dr. Stahl, that one's intended for you.
Yeah, so it's probably a little bit of both, but what's really important to recognize when we're talking about levels of risk when it comes to COVID-19 is that it's not just chronological age itself, and it's not just the presence of comorbidities. I'm sure we all know someone who's a 90-year-old who's in great health and great function, and unfortunately we probably know someone who's 60 years old who's in less good health and less good function. So it's a bit about moving beyond just chronological age. And similarly, when you speak about diabetes, there are people who have well-controlled diabetes like Corey, and hopefully a lack of end organ complications like heart disease. And so simply considering the presence of the comorbidity doesn't give us the entire level of risk. And we need to think a little bit about how advanced the disease is when we're talking about COVID-19 risk.
Yeah, you can certainly understand the how frightened people are. These are good questions. Up next, we have a question from Vivian.
Why is Ontario so slow to test all seniors and care workers in nursing homes?
Dr. Sinha, that one's for you.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's thinking that we need to be testing everyone as soon as possible, especially when 90% of our deaths right now in Ontario are in these homes themselves. But the challenge is that we only have so much testing capacity, with only about 14,000 tests a day and 144,000 people in care. Well, our focus right now in Ontario and other places is test as many people as possible in homes where there are outbreaks, and then start doing surveillance testing in other places. So we're trying to really manage our testing capacity as best as possible so we can try and catch up and even stay ahead of this virus.
Okay, our next question comes from Jim.
My question is that if I have to go to the hospital, how do I make sure I'm not triaged as an expendable since I'm over 80 years of age?
Okay, that is a completely heartbreaking question. Dr. Stahl?
Yeah, so one of the things that's very important to recognize is that the success of our physical distancing in Canada has meant that we have not reached the surge levels in our acute and critical care systems that we thought we might have. And so these criteria, and I will say that none of them in Canada proposed using chronological age as a criteria, but we have not had to use those criteria to allocate scarce medical resources because we have not reached surge criteria. Now, other jurisdictions like the United Kingdom have developed similar criteria for the allocation of scarce medical resources, and mechanical ventilators would be one of those, intensive care unit beds would be another. And instead of using chronological age, other criteria are applied. That would be how advanced underlying chronic conditions are, or when it comes to aging, they've invoked a condition called frailty, which is a condition of a reduced function and health in older individuals. So simply the use of chronological age in and of itself is not something that's involved in those criteria, but I'm really hopeful based on the success we've had as a country in flattening the curve that these criteria will never have to be used.
Okay, our last question, which is one so many people are asking, comes from Margaret.
If we physical distance, is it okay to have friends, kids, and grandkids over for a visit in the backyard or the driveway?
Okay, so before you answer this, doctors, we know that circumstances are different in every province, and people obviously should first and foremost follow the public health guidelines where they live. But if you could both have a look at this. Dr. Sinha, how would you answer that one?
You know, this is the tricky one, right? Because we're all a bit stir crazy right now. We want to go and see our friends, and we say, well, you know, we'll all play safe. The challenge that we're having right now is that, especially young grandchildren, they don't understand principles of physical distancing. They want to hug grandma, and this is where people sometimes don't get it right, and that's how the virus actually gets us.
All right, doctors, thank you both very much, as always. And as we've mentioned, we will be asking your questions about COVID-19 every night going forward. So please send us the questions you have. You can message us directly on Instagram at CBC The National, or you can send us an email at covid@cbc.ca.
Next on The National, Dr. Sinha is back. He gives us a first-hand look at what his long days at a busy Toronto hospital look like.
Plus, the man who got a job in a long-term care home just so he could be close to his mom. But first, a little music goes a long way, and if you're lucky, it comes to you, just as it did for these residents at a retirement home in Toronto. What started as a creative solution to the COVID-19 restrictions is now a weekly outdoor concert. The audience on their balconies, the staff and healthcare workers looking up, and the music bringing everyone together. Welcome back to our special seniors and COVID-19 coverage. You may know it yourself, the pain of being separated from loved ones in long-term care. In tonight's Pandemic Diary, the story of one man who took a job to be closer to his mom.
Hi, my name is Brian Corcoran. I'm 45 years old and I recently started working as a unit aide in a long-term care facility that is in the midst of a fight against COVID-19. It is the long-term care facility that my mother is at. She's on the 3rd floor, corner unit. We had been restricted from visiting for about 2 weeks. I applied for a job and less than 24 hours later I had completed training and was starting my first shift working on my mother's floor. First stop.
I'll take your temperature.
I am feeling stressed, I'm feeling nervous. I also feel satisfaction that in some small way, shape, or form, I'm participating and I'm helping. What keeps me up at night is the idea of introducing the coronavirus into the long-term care facility, all the more so because my mother is among the residents that I care for. What really gives me hope is the people that I am working with. The employees deserve more credit than we could ever possibly give them.
Doctors are also having to adapt and change how they interact with their elderly patients. So to better understand those challenges, we handed things over to Dr. Samir Sinha. Here is his own behind-the-scenes look at how COVID-19 has affected his job.
So it's just after 6 a.m. and I'm driving into work. I usually take my bike with the bike share program or take the TTC, but to protect my health and my coworkers, the safest thing I can do is to drive.
I'm Dr. Samir Sinha, and I'm a geriatrician and the Director of Geriatrics at Sinai Health System and the University Health Network in Toronto. I'm going to take you through a day of what it's like for me working now amid this new reality.
I do a lot of my visits now virtually, but I'm here with Nancy Hutton, who actually runs our outpatient lab. And Nancy, I'm seeing my patients over the phone or through video chats. They're not coming here where they usually get their blood work. What are you seeing?
We are seeing very few patients now, and it does have us quite concerned because we don't know if they are actually getting their blood work, which is needed for diagnosis and patient care.
It's a big issue.
It is a big issue.
There has been no typical day since this pandemic began. We're all working double hours now and just trying to do the best we can support our patients in and outside the hospital. This week I've been focusing on calling all of my patients and using either the phone, the good old telephone, or using video links for those who are a little bit more tech savvy, just to make sure people are okay and that they're getting the support they need.
Okay, Nick, and in terms of your mom's nursing home application, do you have any questions at the moment?
I do. If a bed becomes available during this COVID-19 pandemic and we turn it down, what are our options?
Yeah, no, good question actually. So the Ministry of Long-Term Care just passed emergency regulations just a few weeks ago, just to say that in families like yours, if you do get a bed offer, traditionally if you turned it down, you'd be struck off the list. But if your family says, just not right now, can we hold off until the pandemic ends, they'll actually hold the bed offer so you won't lose your place in line, and then you can decide when it's right for mom to go in.
Great.
Typically 16 to 18-hour days. One of the last cars out of the lot at night.
It's been another productive day, but what always keeps me up at night is wondering whether I could have done anything more.
Still ahead on the national tips on how to handle all of this from those who have lived through big moments in history.
You know, this is just like the beginning of World War II.
Advice you don't want to miss in our moment.
Well, they were just starting to make a new life in Canada when the pandemic changed everything. Housing, jobs, support, suddenly a lot harder to come by. Laura Lynch looks at how refugees are coping with COVID.
What's normally a skier's dream, no lift lineups, untouched hills, is now part of the nightmare in Whistler. The coronavirus has shut down the village. It's empty of both tourists and laid-off workers.
I don't know, it depends.
But for some, it's also torn apart the promise of a new life in a new land.
I was really happy that day.
Syrian refugee Hamza Al-Nas and his partner Yulia found jobs at a hotel shortly after arriving here in January. Just over a month later, the virus shredded the economy.
We lost our jobs, unfortunately. And the house we're living also is that comes with the job. But we have to leave the house as well.
Now he can't sleep, has panic attacks. He says it's as if he's back in war-torn Syria.
It really triggers a lot of things. It's like, it scares me a lot. So I think that's why it triggers the anxiety in me.
I'm Dr. Rashid. I'm one of the
That vulnerability is what can set refugees apart in this pandemic.
Many people have lived through horrific trauma. So, we see people who've lived through torture and war, who've been estranged from family. Sometimes they've seen family members killed.
The anxiety may be even worse for refugees who arrive unable to speak English or French, like the 6 recently arrived families living in temporary housing here in Vancouver.
We'd love some leads for these families to be able to transition out of our temporary facility, where they've been for 2, 3, 4 months now, into permanent housing.
There is one refugee who probably knows more than most about dealing with isolation. Syrian Hassan Alkantar attracted global attention when he was stuck in the arrivals hall at the airport in Kuala Lumpur for 8 months. Welcome to Canada just over a year ago, he is also living in Whistler. He's also lost his job. He's living alone in the resort spa where he used to work.
I have an experience from it's not my first time, but this time it's a piece of cake.
Much easier too, he says, than surviving war.
You need to know how we lived as Syrians for the last 9 years. We used to play with death. We were living on the edge.
So this is the chickpeas.
Alkantar has started decidedly low-tech cooking classes on his Facebook page, a way, he says, to share a message of resilience with other refugees and Canadians in general.
To tell them that this is a temporary thing. We can get through it. They need to be patient. They need to think as Syrians, to be calm and to live day by day.
And so everyone waits for this village to return to its vibrant normal. But for some, it also means waiting to truly start over in their new country, Canada. Laura Lynch, CBC News, Whistler.
Next on The National, advice from people who have lived through some of history's most difficult moments.
But first, our COVID-19 how-to guide. Tonight, advice for those of us who already sometimes have trouble breathing, even while we're healthy.
I have asthma. Am I more susceptible to COVID-19?
There's no evidence that you're more likely to catch the virus if you have asthma. You're probably not more likely, but it's probably quite likely that if you do catch it, you'll have a more severe form of that infection, because we know that asthma tends to flare up when people get viruses. That's one of the common reasons people have asthma flare-ups and often end up in the emergency room.
And the bad news doesn't end there, unfortunately. There are open questions about whether in severe cases of COVID-19, even after a patient recovers, there may be long-term damage, scar tissue in the lungs, making it harder to breathe.
So if you have COVID-19 as the virus that's going to be causing that flare-up, you may well have a more severe infection because of the asthma.
So as with any at-risk group where the stakes are potentially that much higher, keep your physical distance from other people, wash your hands, and don't touch your face.
These 3 seniors are Second World War veterans. They have lived through some of the most challenging times in the last century. And because of the history they've witnessed, they're pretty well equipped to offer advice during the history we're now living through, and that is our moment.
I was sitting there looking out the window and I thought, this is just like the beginning of World War II. You don't know what's going to happen. It looks like we're in real deep trouble. You hope for the best. Yeah, we got the best country in the world if we put our shoulder to the wheel.
Done. My whole life has been a learning experience. And I think I learned a lot in the war about the need for being kind to people. I think that we should pay more attention to one another. You kind of get wrapped up in your own little world and you never think about all the ones that are much worse off than you are, and it should bring people close together.
We're all the same boat. It's not just in one town here or another town somewhere else or another country somewhere else that's got this. It's the whole world. So we're all the same and we're all together in it. There's a saying, it's, keep calm and carry on. That's all you can do. And there's another saying, this too will pass. And it will pass.
And you know, Adrian, those are striking words. This too will pass. Except it is so hard in the moment to believe it. But of course she's right. Of course it will pass.
And listen, there's a lot we can learn from those folks. We must. One thing I'm always curious about is why do people serve when they did? And our producer asked Bob why he served, and he said that as a teenager, he didn't like his boss at General Electric, said to heck with it, and signed up. That is National for Wednesday, April 29th. Good night.
Good night.